had some lectures before the lockdown. We talk about what is strategic management, asset management, and things like that. The main idea of this course is to develop strategies and tactics that will help you create value in management of corporate assets. Because in the past, corporate corporate organizations don't see real estate as something to be recognized in their board decisions. But over time, they found that corporate real estate constitutes a major percentage of their asset holding, and that whatever happens to real estate affects their overall profit. So with that kind of situation, the corporate organizations start thinking about bringing real estate managers into their corporate decision making, getting them involved in their policies and plans, because they found that when real estate can contribute to the profit of their organization, either by increasing the profit generated by the company or reducing the cost of running real estate. After all, profit arises by increase in income or reduction in cost. All this will enhance profit making. So I can't remember all the topics we have done before, but if you can remember the topics we have done last time and text them to me, it will be very, very good. But having said that, I will look at few things now, particularly developing strategies for facility management. There is in a few months time, people will leave school, and some people are working somewhere, and you may have to take decision and get involved in policy making. So as I've explained earlier, property managers are now part of policy and decision making in real estate company, and we found that real estate costs constitute a major cost of what corporate bodies spend. So if you ignore it and don't take it into consideration, you'll be running into a loss. Even for you to borrow any money in the bank to run your business, you need to value your assets and use it as a collateral. And besides, your allocation of your property will equally influence your business. The services that are available there, the indoor air quality or the quality of the environment, how will influence workers' productivity, and equally customers' convenience and their welfare when they come to do business with the organization is equally very, very, very critical. All these things will affect how you are patronized and the level of profit you make. So what we are teaching now, one of the things we are teaching is developing strategies for facility management. It's one of the handouts I gave you. If you open it, there are about 4 or 5 handouts I gave you, chapters. One is developing strategies for facilities management. In that paper, the first statement they said the starting point for managing facilities is the organization's business plan and accommodation strategy. It also said that the strategy, so it also said that developing a facilities management strategy will reflect the organization's business objectives, needs, and policies, as well as the participation practicalities imposed by its accommodation needs. What he's saying here that if you are going to develop a strategy for the facilities of any organization, you must understand their own plan. What is their business plan? What are their business objectives? but you must provide facilities that will enable them achieve their business objectives. If I'm running a school, so many things we considered in trying to select a site for me. So many things will be considered in the way you manage the facilities. You know, I'm dealing with students, I'm dealing with students who have a good environment. The staff, lecturers will have a good place to teach or stand in the classroom. The blackboard will be well maintained. There must be ventilation and so on and so forth. For a factory, there must be an environment, an enabling environment that will make the workers. There must be somewhere the workers will relax during their break time so that they will recoup energy. You must put away where they park their cars, or there must be a place they eat or prepare themselves. Otherwise, workers will go away for a very long time. I will not come back in time to the office. So these are things, you know, what the organization is doing, what they do, and the objectives, what they want to achieve, will guide you in their own strategies. You will do, and then their income, their facilities, their budget, and so on and so forth. What they produce, what the services they are rendering to the site. So there are key issues in which you consider in the development of facilities management strategy for an organization. One is to analyzing stage. The analyzing stage is a stage where you collect and collate information, data about the organization. You have to know about their objectives, their needs and policies. Then their resources and systems, physical assets they have. All these things are brought together and analyzed. They've thoroughly analyzed. Then when you have analyzed it, you now go to the solution stage, in which you are now reviewing various options available to you. It may be procurement options, it may be manpower options, it may be location options, it may be the options of size, it may be the options of how to maintain the property, refurbish, and so on and so forth. You see all those options at your disposal. Then, having done that, you move to the final stage, which is the implementation stage. At this stage, you will now incorporate the key elements of procurement, training, and importantly, communication. How to communicate the ideas to people. Having said that, we have to now look at what are the major things in each of these stages. There are 3 stages: analysis stage, solution stage, and implementation stage. Each of these solutions, so we look at, if you open the next page, you see a diagram. That diagram shows this strategy. You call it strategic analysis, implementation, solutions, and implementation. So under the analysis, what are you analyzing? So many things are listed. Services, audit review. What are services? What are the services we are providing? What is their quantity? Which ones are available and not available? What is the state that you're auditing them? What is the state? And so, do you have manpower to run them? Then you assess what are the expectations and objectives of the company. What do they expect, as the case may be? Then you portfolio audit. What is the volume of quantum of portfolio they have in their portfolio? Are there enough? Are there excess? Are there insufficient? If there are excess, what do you do with the excess ones? Do you leave them idle, or do you lease them out or sell them off, as the case may be? But all you are talking about value for money. Anything that does not contribute to value or contribute to profit have to be dealt away with. What you have, are they having higher cost in lesser cost in, or high cost in use, as the case may be? Then what are the resources available to you in terms of manpower, in terms of finance, in terms of material, to work, and so on and so forth. So you have to audit your resources and see what you have, what you need, what you have, and what you need more to carry out your work. Then the other one is market audit. What are the supply situations? In case you want to buy a property, where can you buy them from? How can you buy them? How do you buy them? And all these things. These are things you look at. Then the other one is you look at solution, say, developing solutions. Then in that one, you generate options. What are the options available to you? In this case, then having generated options, you evaluate the options. From evaluation, you now go to the final stage, select the strategy to carry out the best strategy to implement these options you have developed, the one you have chosen. Then from there, we move to the implementation stage. In that case, they just communicate, but for you to implement, people must be aware. You have communicated to the management or the board what you want to do, inform them what your findings and what you want to implement. Then also the people and the systems you have in the system, you have to bring them together and see how suitable they are and start informing them to take off. Resource planning, what resources you have, money, financial, material resources for this takeoff, and the case may be. Then your procurement, is it in-house or out-house? Which one will you go out-house, which one will go in-house? These are things you do under implementation. Yeah? And if you go to the next page of that book, page 16, you will see what they listed there as strategic analysis, what you do there. Then in solutions, in options, what you do there, and so on and so forth. Strategy implementation, what you do there, and so. So we're not covering the whole of the book. So we're just ending in page 17 of the book. But if you read the other pages, it will give you a better insight over what we have done in this particular in the first few chapters. It tells you about market audit, developing solutions, generation of options, criteria for judging options and evaluation, selection of this option of the first option, what you consider, and so on and so forth. If you look at them, what do you consider in selecting options? How do you do a analysis? How do you generate options as the case may be? And then you mentioned about resource audit in the other part of the work, and so on and so forth. Like, let's take, for example, the issue of analysis. Such analysis. One of the things you do service audit review, benchmarking, you do assessment of expectation and objectives, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What opportunities do you have? And what are the threats you have? You analyze them. Under analysis, portfolio audit, you analyze the space analysis. What space do you have? Estate register. Look at the estate register. What are the assets we have in your register? What is the maintenance plan of the place? What is the maintenance plan? These are things you are analyzing. Is it suitable to what you want to do? Does it fit what the company needs? Then what is the risk audit? What are the level of risk you have? You audit them. Then resource audit, people skills you have, you audit them. Are they sufficient? Are they excess? Is that what is the quality of people is what you need? Service provide audit, existing internal and external arrangements. Like service that you have people that you engage from outside that provide services, and those you engage inside that provide services. You analyze them to see whether they are enough or not. Then market audit. Under that one, you are dealing with service providers, external providers, supply of real estate, and of other facilities you need in the place. Then in solutions, first of all, you start by generating options. You outsource modeling, business process, engineering, and the case may be, evaluation of options, maintenance plan, risk analysis, cost benefit analysis, stakeholder analysis. Then you have selection strategy, optimizing model. Which one will give you the greatest benefit among all of them? Which one will get the optimal benefits than other options? Then when it comes to implementation, people and systems, change management through the application of rigorous project, management plan, monitor, and case maybe training and development. If you train the staff you wish to work, so they will fit into what you are trying to do. A part of implementation, organizational structure implications, effective communication program. You have to be able to communicate to those who are relevant to what you are doing, so that they will know exactly what you are doing, so that what they call it must be effective. So if you tell somebody to come, you will know that you need to come, or you need somebody to stand up, means that you need somebody. Not when I say something, and the person is responding in that way, which means you are not communicating effectively to that person. So by effective communication, it means that the respondent, the respondent is perceiving the message in the way you intend it, and the response will be in tandem or in sync with what you expect from him. In that case, you know that your communication is effective. Then we talk about selection of strategy, option model. You have so much about that. Then the implementation one, change management, people and system, management plan, application of rigorous project control, plan, monitor, and control, training and development as case may be. Organizational structure, we have effective communication program. We have talked about that one. Resource planning, project planning, programming, and control. But same thing, you have to plan the project. How do you manage it? How do you control, so that you don't deviate from your plan or your objectives? And everything must be aligned to the policies of the company or the organization, and what procurement option do you have, and who are the service providers, and then you have to select the appropriate people to provide the services, both in-house and out-house. So these are the major things you should know under this particular topic. Then we come to benchmarking. Benchmarking, you might have done this in other courses you have treated, but in this case, this time around, we will treat it in a very in summary. We won't go into large extent, but you have done it. We just try to see how you can apply it to strategy. But all you are doing is to create value for money. Anything that will include waste is avoided. It's not decrease waste, like energy efficiency and so on and so forth. We shall come into that back later. Anything that will involve that increase waste is avoided. So that is the situation we want to address. For instance, let's look at this one now. What is benchmarking? So benchmarking is the process of identifying, sharing, and using knowledge and best practices. It's also a management tool for enhancing an organization's performance and competitiveness. What we are saying here is that benchmarking is like a yardstick, a milepost, something you use to measure your performance against other people's performance. For instance, if you spend 5 hours to read every day, and in the exam you don't do as well, you are always scoring between 50 and 40 and 50%. I found that your colleague is spending 4 hours every day to read and is scoring 60% in the exam, or 7 or 8. It means something is wrong somewhere. No, this is not a very good example, but there are so many factors that will influence that example apart from the reading hours. You cannot say, if I'm putting 5 hours and bringing out a smaller result, why is my friend who is putting that hours having better performance than me? But let's put it that way, the way you understand it. When Xerox in the US started producing copiers, they found that the Japanese companies were selling copiers at a price lower than their cost of production. Lower than Xerox cost of production. So they know that if they continue the way they are operating, that Xerox, that the Japanese companies will put them out of business. Nobody will patronize them. What Japanese were selling below their cost of production. So they now have to study to see what are the reasons or what is the techniques that these plants are selling below our cost of production, which means we are not being prudent in our production cost. We are wasting money in our production cost. That's what it means. We are not cost conscious. So in that case, they have to do a study to find out a way of reducing their cost of production. So if you are running an estate, a company or a business, or you have a mall, you are running a business, and you acquire a space of 2,000 square meters, and you have 500 staff, I found that maybe the cost per staff is about 50,000 naira per staff. And the other colleagues in the industry who are running the same business are spending 30,000 naira per staff in terms of space requirements, which means you are using more, your space is more, because of the space you are using for your staff output is higher than other competitors in the industry who are producing the same product and making more profit than you are making. So it means that you cannot compete with them eventually, basically. Or you find that the cost of your real estate business, your real estate expenditure is higher than other people in the industry, and that for that reason they are making more profit than you are spending more. But even though you are selling at the same price, but your cost of production is higher. So because your cost of production is higher, they are making more profit than you are making, and they are competing you out of the business. Let me give you an example. If you are running a business, say, let me say a bank. So like if like any bank have many branches in a street, they can decide to join 2 branches to the same generator. But if the generator they have extra capacity than the requirement of a branch. In that case, they're saving costs. And then they find out again that the equipment they have are not energy efficient. So they now buy equipment that have, and some of the ones they have that are not energy efficient, and now buy the ones that have energy, that are energy efficient in nature. And then they start saving costs, other costs, even the way they are doing their houses, they start saving costs, applying value engineering to save costs in their building and so on and so forth. At the end of the day, they find out that they are now reduce their cost of energy and so on and so forth. They use energy efficient bulbs, energy efficient air conditioners, and they increase their natural lighting so that they have to use less of artificial lighting in their business. So at the end of the day, they find out that their cost of doing business have reduced by 20%. They can now reduce their bank charges minimally, even by 5%. knowing that they're covering the cost from the notion they have in their estate, real estate sector, that reduce the cost of running business in the real estate sector, and that will give them an extra edge. So from there, that to give extra benefits to their customers by giving them lower bank charges, and that will attract them more customers and compete their competitors away in the business and make more profit. That is what benchmarking is all about. For those of you in the real estate business, maybe your business, you are managing a high-rise building. The rent per flat for each of them is $30 million per annum a flat. The rent is standard. But you find out that two other buildings in the area, their service charge is lower than your service charge you are charging your tenants, because even though you are providing the same level of services, because those managers have found a way of minimizing waste in their common services, and thereby charging their clients a lower amount. So you found that if there is a property, if there's a law in property market, if the property market is not performing very well, and people and tenants are start being money cost conscious, try to save costs in their rent, they will move away from their property to that property where the service charge is lower. But when you join the service charge and rent, they're paying less than people in their property are paying. So in that case, the man who has a lower service charge will attract more tenants to his property, and he will reduce void in property. And these are the things. There's only ways you can reduce cost in real estate process. Okay, there was a time a center, a company in Lagos here, an organization in Lagos here, and Lagos organization, they have many properties, and they have some group of companies under their organization. All of them are housed in their property, in their building, and they are not paying rent for those properties. So after a point, they decided that each company in their organization will start paying rent for the space they are occupying. They equally start looking at the properties they have outside which they are not using. How are they managing? How are they performing? Are they getting the best out of them or not? How do they optimize their use or their income from those properties? They now ask all the companies in the many of the companies now start releasing space they don't need. At the end of the day, they have enough space which was let out, and those spaces are generating very higher rent for the company. And it forces the companies to optimize their space, but now they pay for it. So they are now do away with what they want you, what they don't need. But when you are getting something free, you are bound to use it with prodigality. You are about to be more wasteful, but you don't know the value of what you are using. Now you are paying for it, you are bound to be more cost conscious. Then the party they have in VI is a bungalow. In Lekki phase 1, it's a bungalow on 1,000 square meters. So they now go to a developer who develop 6 flats in that plot, luxury flats, more than the building, and get them 1 flat. And this was for 15 years. The man will operate the building and give back to them. So the flat was giving them, at that time, 3.5 million naira per annum. Whereas they are getting 2.5 million naira from the bungalow. And now, after 15 years, the party will come back to them. So they are collecting more rent now, and in 15 years' time, they will own a whole building of 6 flats. And maybe by then, by the time the 15 years will pass, the rent will be in the neighborhood of 7 to 8 million naira per flat. So that is the another aspect. So they have a warehouse in Surulere, in Western Avenue. So somebody was selling cars, acquiring 2-bay warehouse there. He was paying them 5 million for the 2 warehouses. I mean, 7 million for 2 warehouses, 7 million for the 2 warehouses per annum. They now ask an assistant surveyor to help them value at the appropriate rent for those warehouses. And now they come to 7 million naira per day. So which means the 2 bays will become 40 million naira. The man occupying it, they don't not argue on the rent. He didn't say you will not pay 7 million naira. He said he will take 1 bay and give out 1 bay. So he took 1 bay and paid 7 million naira per annum. And the bay he gave out, somebody else leased it and he's paying 7 million naira. So they're making 40 million naira instead of 7 million naira from the property. You can now see how we can apply strategic management in corporate properties. Yeah? And corporate property is a property owned by corporate organization or a corporate body, a corporate soul. So that is all about that. So we rest for some time and continue. We just have a 10-minute break and continue again. What is time now?
16:51, sir.
Well, so we come back by 5 o'clock. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Come, that one you type first. What is this code? That first one. If you are send it to my mail, I want to give them lecture on what you said. How to correct it tomorrow and give them lecture. Okay. I'm just going to let you we can achieve value for money in managing asset management. That's what we call value engineering and terror technology. At times, I use the word terror value technology to describe it. Value engineering is it involves avoiding undesirable costs in a project, and terror technology this with try to reduce the lifestyle cost of an item, equipment, or a building, so that the running costs will be minimized, and you don't have to be spending money on a periodic basis. So in that case, you are reducing the operational cost of the asset. That's all you do by technology. So if you join two of them in what is called technology, so we are trying to save costs, capital costs, and save running costs. So all these things we have to achieve value for money under strategic asset management. Like the way you build your house, the way you design your house will save costs. That's some things I can say to you. Something I can say. I'll send you a chapter of a book I was writing. It's dealing with the value engineering and technology. You see how costs can be saved by minimizing with undesirable costs, things that are not necessary. Like you are building a house, an office block, and then you start partitioning it, start putting marble, and then put carpet that is wrong on top of that marble again. Those are waste. Then the design of a building the shape of a building will equally affect the cost. Then some materials, anything that does not add value to the users will affect the cost. So that is based when you are doing a value for money or value engineering, you ask a question, yourself question: what does this object do? What does it do? What does it cost? What else can provide the same services this object is doing? What does it cost? So you are trying to look at something you are using to see how necessary it is. Is it the best way I can do this thing? Okay, I have a pen. This is a packer pen. What does it do? It's for writing. What does it cost? 10 naira. What else we do? It's another kind of pen as well as packer pen too, the same quality. What does it cost? 8 naira. Then is there any difference between this pen and packer pen? No. One must I spend 10 naira instead of 8 naira. It's not 8 naira. You find that it doesn't make any economic sense. So in that case, you'll be compelled to go to the lower price. And even the way you buy things, like in this Lagos, something you buy in one place for 50,000 naira. If you step a few meters away, you can buy the same product for 45,000 naira. Somewhere else, you can buy it for 40,000 naira. It depends on where you buy. So through procurement too, you can save cost in the buying. Through design, the way you build, the kind of materials you use, are they wasteful? Are they useful or not? You can find out, like somebody is building a house in Abuja, is have an estate. You use EPS, what they call expanded propylene. That one reduce the amount of concrete and rod you use in the house, and even carbon emission.
Excuse me, sir.
I'm listening to you. Hello? Hello? No. Hello? Hello? Excuse me. Hello?
Belos, do you have anything to say, please?
Are you hearing me?
We can hear you.
Someone say, excuse me. I thought this. You have a question.
You can continue, sir. You can continue, sir.
So, if the material you use, like someone is building a house, I was about a company in Abuja that entered development. So instead of using reinforced concrete, they use EPS, what they call expanded propylene with wire mesh and a little concrete. So that will reduce the cost of their construction. And when I ask them, what do they reduce? All these things they are doing on their own, all these thing they introduced, how much did they, what percentage of cost did they reduce? You say between 15 and 20% of the cost of construction. That is on their own. But if they are building elsewhere, they are reducing about 50%, about 25% cost, which is a very big amount. So if you are building a house of 100 million naira and reduce 50%, you are reducing 50 million naira. So if you have 10 units of house, so you are getting 150 million naira difference. I'll give you an example of what you can save cost. When we are involved in one project in Abuja, the interior decorator was proposing importing doors from China. That was some 10, 12 years ago, or thereabout, at the cost of 90,000 naira landing cost to Nigeria. And they are building about 100 units of accommodation in the United States then. So I now asked them that we have a company here that produces industrial doors, and it's called Dow Trade. And at that time, Dow Trade was selling a single door for 8,500 naira. Very fine doors, good doors, treated doors under industrial condition. And if you are buying in large quantity, they will sell to you at 7,500, and they will still come and install the doors for you. The Chinese company will not install the doors for you. And if that door lands at the wharf for 90,000 naira, you still have to carry it to your site. Okay, the site is in Abuja, and there's no wharf in Abuja, so you have to carry it from Abuja, from Lagos to Abuja at higher cost. So I said it doesn't. And then if you look at 100 buildings, and each, at least a house will have a minimum of 10 doors. Minimum of 10 doors. So if you check the difference in price, almost 12,000 naira difference in price times 12 10 times 10 times 100 gives you 1,000 dollars. 1,000 times 12,500. See what it will give you, a large amount. And at that time, I found that what you save in dollars can give you 3 or 5 more buildings. So that is value engineering. It can only be in material use, in procurement, or what there's something they call what they call I can't remember them again in construction, but what it means that assuming you are doing a house now, okay, and the contractor allow the contractor to do the roofing for you. You go to the roof company and pay money to them. So, and the contractor are giving you a quotation of 10 million naira for roofing, but the roof company says we sell the roof to you at 7 million naira and do the roofing for you and install the roof for you at 7 million naira. You find that you are saving 3 million naira. So by giving the contract, by going to the direct supplier for that, they call it prime cost item. If you make it a prime cost item, it means that even if the contract was quoted 10 million naira for the project, and you find out that the suppliers, either it's a tiling company or a roofing company, that they offer it for 7 million naira, that's what you reimburse the contractor, not the 10 million naira. So if you can use prime cost item in your bill of quantities to reduce cost of construction without compromising quality. So many ways you can apply. Even the way you arrange your dues. Maybe I remember a time there was a project we are involved in Abuja. It was in my time. The man wanted to build 8 units of houses of accommodation. That is 4 number semi-detached buildings. Each block having 2 units of accommodation. That is 8 units. So I now asked my client, why don't you reduce it to 3 units of 6 blocks of 3 units of 6 units, 3 blocks, then remove 1 unit. In that 1 unit, put a swimming pool there. And they play relaxation area. We use it. So I told my client that the cost of putting a swimming pool is lower than the cost of building a block of 2 units of semi-detached houses. That is cheaper than building a semi-detached house. And the rent you get from the 6 units will be higher than the rent you get from the 8 units. Most of the high quality clients you will get, most of the services you have provided in place, you have increased the tempo, your level of your house, and people who live there will be people of higher income. And we did the case of and find that I was correct. So these are a part of value engineering you do. So these are things you wish to create value by, and you spend less and reduce. So many ways you can do it. It's something you have to be imaginative and creative. Normally, they are what you call a value engineering team, which you bring so many professional people, they sit down and brainstorm on how to minimize cost without compromising quality. Instead, increase quality. Like what you did here now, we reduce costs and increase value. We reduce costs and have higher return on investment. So that's what you did in that aspect. Then another aspect is they call about holistic strategic asset management. I gave you a handout called strategic asset management. It's now pivotal and delivering industrial profitability and sustainability. So I will just read the first paragraph of that paper and from there expand. It says, strategic asset management involves the management of capital equipment, people, and other resources. Risk. Legislation without jeopardizing the technical integrity of any asset over its life cycle. What you say exactly that you can enhance the value or the profit or the benefit of an organization through comprehensive asset management by the way you procure, the kind of asset you procure. And then when there is hello? Hello? Yeah. So with low life cycle cost, so the machine you buy, the equipment you buy, all these things, then you provide a good working environment for your staff, for the team, as well. So all these things will enhance. Then you have a high return on investment. You increase the workers' productivity. You will increase the air quality and environment and the health of the workers. You reduce interruption. If you install equipment with low cost in use or low life cycle cost, it means you will reduce the level of replacing at time. If I run an industry, once you are replacing an asset, equipment, a part, the party will shut down and you lose hours of production. So when you install equipment that have low life cycle costing, you have a longer period. You have a more sustained period of operation than the other one. You have a live production off time. You reduce risk of plant failure because you are using a good parts and good equipment that have low running costs or low life cycle cost. Then you can improve the operational efficiency of the machines or the equipment you are using. Reduce schedule maintenance effort every time maintaining. So if you are maintaining twice a year, you might not change to once a year, but we have a more efficient equipment, and you reduce the equipment life cycle cost through extending equipment life, improve energy efficiency. So you buy equipment that have low energy consumption, and so on and so forth. So these are one of the things you do to enhance your energy, your value for money in the property, in the assets you are managing. So they are very, very, very critical things we have to know. I'll get you something on value engineering to read. Soft copy is not, you don't have to bring it, but I'm giving you the gist of it. So what is the exam? Hello?
The exam is
Hello?
starting on the 6th, sir.
Yeah, class.
Yes, sir.
Next week
Starting
Saturday.
Oh, let me Saturday, okay. No problem. Okay, let's talk about asset register. Asset register. Asset register is a compendium of all the assets of an organization in a logical manner for ease of access, for easy accessibility and maintainability and control. It involves grouping the assets in line with their location, where they are located, giving them identification numbers and values and other information necessary to enhance asset management and tracking. So we call it asset register and tracking. So it is very good for managing assets. If you are managing an asset and you don't have a record of what you are managing, how can you manage the asset very well? If you are controlling money and you have no record of the amount you are controlling, how can you control the money? Or you are managing a staff, you don't have a record of your staff and where they and what departments they are. How can you manage them? How do you control them? So these are very, very critical things. So what we do in asset management is most organizations now do it. They even advertise, engage some, you can even engage consultants to prepare an asset register for them. Assuming it's a hotel, you come to reception, take inventory of all the assets there: table, reception chair, desk, frames, television, portraits, this. Then you enter room 1, you take all the assets there one by one. You don't just scatter them along there. Room 2, room 101, room 102, you list the assets one by one. Then kitchen, you go there, boiler, gas cooker, this capacity, you build the capacity, serial number, model number, how it can be identified. Then most times the company will have their own identification number. Even when they are valuing the asset, those identification number will be in the evaluation register that are doing. So the asset number will be to identify each asset. So when the person sees the identification number, you know the asset equation. So they use it one by one. You can kitchen, restaurant, bar, reception, common room, laundry, steam iron, boiler, washing machine. The name, not just washing machine, you the type of machine, the size, the standard they make, and everything, the condition, and then eventually when they do valuation, they will add the values of it to it. Your purchase and so on and so forth. So they can use a number, say, if it's a big company that have branches in Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, you can say LA, the one for Lagos, that's will start with LA. Then the one for Abuja will start with AB, Port Harcourt will start with PH. Then if it's they have departments, you see PH account department, PH to ACT. It means that the asset is located in account department. Then you put the number. I get my point. Then if it's on ground floor or first floor, F1, FGF, F1, F2. So the person will now know if you are looking for the exact property, you know where it is. Then the block is if you a block, there will be a way of identifying the block itself. So the number will can help you to identify the assets where they are, and it helps you to control the asset. I'll go to that one aspect later. They found that in office, you enter every office, you see a paper pasted on the door or hanging on the door, showing all the equipment and assets in that office. So when that man is leaving office, somebody from the FM department will come and assess the assets in office vis-a-vis the list pasted in his door or placed in his office to know whether anyone is missing or not. So it helps to control and manage assets. So if an asset has problem, it can easily from there give the FM the asset number, you know how to locate the place without asking questions. So we call it, if you check the book on answer, you see how they show a diagram how to represent these things in their register. Then we have you have to review the asset from time to time. So the review days are again similar to that of maintenance. You have to review the thing and then you should not be that due for maintenance. If it's a property that are leasing, you know when they are due for a lease, when the rent are due for renewal. All things will give you a record of everything you have. Yeah, if you have a portfolio, it can help you to do. So here in this asset register is active and consistently updated on principle of a little and often. The main advantage of the traditional inventory is avoided, and the register becomes a working document in day-to-day management rather than an addendum in the annual accounts and contents of your insurance policy. So it helps you to ensure the assets. You don't have to be saying a chair, which chair. The visitor chair normally is in the MD's office, in the accountant's office. So the chair is identified with where they're located, not just something that just amorphous. So you don't have. So when a chair is missing, they know. If you see a chair in another office, they say, this chair does not belong here. It belongs to this department. They'll carry it away and take it away. So sometimes some people will carry chair, borrow a chair from someone's office for something, they don't take it back. But for the number on the seat, which I'll be giving to you during the asset identification and registration, they will now know where it belongs. And you can always track the asset with it. It helps you to amount of key information from database, even show you the equipment location, reference such as appropriate room number, provides casual confirmation that the mobile equipment in particular has been returned to the correct location after use without the need to refer to the asset register. So from that number, you can easily know what it is. Then we have what we call tracking. Tracking. Assets in the form of tools, equipment, and certain furniture are portables, valuables, and attractive to individuals. So how do you, as the facility manager, protect the company's interest? The regular register review will discover several irregularities. At times you find incomplete equipment. You have incorrect location, asset being in a where it shouldn't belong. You can have missing altogether. It's not available. It has been disappeared from the system. Yeah, or damage. So this register will help you to handle all these things. So it will help you to find where the whether it has been whether it is complete, because you have the register record, it's not complete. So you ask questions, where is it? And listen, why is it here? These are not the right location for this particular asset. Why is it here? Take it to where it belongs to. So you see how it's important in asset management. You have the hand that you really better understand very well. Then it's missing. Who took it away? And it's under somebody's custody. You ask him to account for the asset in his custody. Where is it? Or they strap you in your salary and you pay for it. Then damage. Who damaged it? It's easy. But if it's no man's land, it means who man damage, I don't know. If it's damaged, the first person you hold is the person in his office. Yeah. Or the department where it is. They have a head apartment then who we have to know what happens to his assets under his control. So it's under his control, and he'll be answerable for his situation, for his initiative. Then it's equally used to track equipment performance. The balancing of operational load of an equipment was examined in chapter because equipment that habitually falls short of measured expectation needs to be reviewed on the basis of our work, professional quality, servicing quality, and better health. So if you have records, know that this equipment is always have a problem of performing, so you know where it is, and always have you time to give it regular maintenance so that it will perform better. You don't just, but if you don't know where it is, just leave yourself. Tell you, Adam, equipment has been working for the past 3 weeks. So is that so? But if you have a record, you know that this equipment, it helps in the canal maintenance, then servicing. You know when servicing is due, where it's located, and so on and so forth. You know all these things. Then it avoids increased breakdowns and other things. So you have to know if there's a warrant of repair, you know where to issue it, and so the man will not be able to go in. And if I understand that you have vandalism and damage of machines on pole, can remove some pipe from a car or from a like in the hospital, can remove part that supplies gas, so supply oxygen to people who are sick when it's not being used. To go and put in their fuel pipe in their car to change. All sorts of things happen. So if you have, as I said, there will be regular update. You have to tracking them from regular to know their situation. Whether there's if there is equipment in the box, it's a cash box. Everything that you have to be tracking everything in the place. So the human being will not be able to use it or damage it or misuse it or vandalize it. So it helps you to regularly monitor their state and their condition. There are some equipment that in some locations that are very tempting. People, like if it's a vending machine or ATM machine, all these things, people may want to go and tempt it and see what is there and steal from there. So you have to be there to know that those equipments where they're located is not safe. So to give you room to find a way of securing them properly and monitor them so that you won't be too late that the machine is no more there, or you have been vandalized, or you have been things have been stolen from it. So the deterrence will be depend on the level of attempted theft and can range from notices saying that the cash is removed regularly. Like if you have an ATM machine, make sure a vending machine where you sell things, people just put their margin. Make sure that you know where it's located, and the cash is removed regularly. You don't allow cash to accumulate for a large sum, where people will be tempted to go and steal them. So emergency equipment, I'm sure about the pipe from the gas oxygen equipment for those who are sick, how they can be vandalized if it's not being monitored and tracked. And by the time you use them, standby generators, they can tamper with it. And make sure that it is something that used to be working in case there is a problem in the area. You need lighting, you need to have energy to run machines or treat people in the hospital or to carry surgery when there's emergency. So these are things that is required to be always there. Then people tracking, you know those who are handling it, you've got all the equipment and machines, and you know who is in charge, who is his office. So you can track the person and look out that what they have are in regular control and management. So these are the things you need to do. The other papers I gave you, we give you a general one is creating value with a static. Is to give you all we are saying here. If you read this paper, this one creating value with a strategic asset management, we help you to understand the essence of strategic management, what it's all about, due diligence, things you do to avoid waste and enhance value. So I think we may have another lecture. I don't know where, but I would like you to discuss what you have done here and ask questions on them. There's something I didn't remember. The matter I'm going to give you. One is corporate real estate, value matter, and so on and so forth. So I think we can have another one extra lecture to conclude what we have, and we understand there's pandemic and the situation is not well as such. So you can take about 1 or 2 papers next lecture and do summary and give you try to review some past questions with you, and that is it. So what day can we have another lecture? Is it next week Tuesday? Is it okay for you? So you can do please lecture and do revision. Hello?
Yeah, with you, sir.
I'm asking, do you have another lecture on Tuesday where we conclude and do revision class? I can bring past questions to review with you, so you have an idea of how to answer questions and kind of things you will expect in an exam.
That would be very interesting, sir.
So
we'll arrange with the class rep.
I will send you the knowledge engineering and performance something on a soft copy today or tomorrow, today, and then so that by tomorrow I send you the soft copy. So by Monday I'll just summarize them and then get past questions, and so you can review them and see how we can move ahead. So you know how to answer some questions, things that will help you. I'll try and scan them and send to your email to some public. Do you have past questions yourself? Do you have past questions?
We don't have, sir.
No, sir.
Scan 2 of
We
them.
don't have.
I'll scan some and send to you to help you, guide you. I know that the
Okay,
time is
sir.
not.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. I'm sure it's not ideal now, so I have to do something to help people to at least to do well this time around.
Okay. Thank you,
Yes.
sir.
No problem.
Okay, sir. We'll get back to you concerning the day for the lecture, sir.
Tuesday is okay by me, but Wednesday I may
Tuesday.
have some. Yeah, Tuesday, same time today, like today, next week.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Tuesday, 4 o'clock. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you too.